All right, we're live here, TopVelocity. If you got any questions, let us know. Working with Jose over here. Jose, I saw something. You're doing the same thing in your drill. You're letting your hip stay back, and then you're dropping in. So do it again. Focus on your hip. Focus on this coming through before this goes. So this has to come through before this goes, and keep your weight over there. That hip first, okay? More now. So the reason you went there is because as you were driving this through, this went early. If you would have held this a little bit longer, it would have been right down the middle. But the point is, the same problems we're having over there, we got to work on it here, even in something simple like this. Hip, this has to, so you're thinking about trying to get this to here, and you're going to hold this back as long as you can. So that was better, but see how you're dropping. I want this to stay up right now, right here. I mean, you don't have to come up into your shoulder, but somewhere here where it comes through. Don't let it go like this. Do you feel your hip gets really tight?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And down.
And that's because that's your problem. So just even doing this, it will help start pushing your hip to open more. Over there, yeah. Better. Feel better?
Yeah.
So think about it. Yeah, so every time, it doesn't matter what you're doing, if it's a similar movement, if you don't pay attention to the things we're trying to change, you could be still reinforcing the movements we don't want.
Yeah.
And that's tough when you're telling your head you're getting better, but you're actually not getting better, you're getting worse. That's how people get frustrated. All right, so today is typically, this is more of a lifting day. We're not throwing today unless guys are on different levels of the program, but most guys aren't. We'll do a little Q&A. I'm gonna even throw up some Instagram. We need a mic. This is where we need the mic to go, so I could pass it to someone. Is the other one on? If you have any questions, guys, ask them questions. I'm gonna try to get on Instagram. But if I want, I can go here.
There's a mic B.
Where is it?
It's down here.
All right. I might do this. Where's Francisco? Santiago. Come over here, Santiago. Well, I want to interview Santiago. Here's your mic. Hook it on your chain. Oh, shoot. I'll hook right here on your chain. There you go. Put it in your pocket.
We can grab it in the hand. It's going to sound bad.
No, that's fine. It's on his chain. You think so?
Yes.
All right. Take it off and hold it in your hand.
Okay.
Okay. So, Santiago's got a cool story. I know I interviewed him on Instagram the other day. But tell everybody where you're from.
Caracas, Venezuela.
Tell them about when you came over to America. When was that?
Me and my family moved over to America 4 years ago to Houston from Venezuela.
Cool. And y'all been, and that was a tough, because all the challenges going on in Venezuela, that was a real big deal, huh?
Yeah, it's like my mom say it's difficult to start from zero
Yeah.
again, but here I am. And
You're
yeah.
a fighter.
Yeah.
He's a fighter. And so you've been in college?
Yeah.
For how long you been in college?
I've been in college for 2 years.
Great.
2 years, yeah. I was
And-
class 2020 in high school.
Cool. And what are your goals right now?
First goal is 95. 95 miles per hour. That's what I have on my mind.
And get you into pro ball?
Yep. Get you my Pro Bowl and yeah, have that dream that I always wanted to.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, and that's what you're here to do. And what are some of the things that you feel like are helping you get there? Like, what are some of the specific things that you believe you could get better at and it'll help you get that velocity? Because you've been up to 92. What do you think some specific things in the program?
I think especially the mobility. Mobility is what is gonna help me a lot because since I was little, I was like lifting a lot of weights and never have mobility in my life. But like one of my goals to like get to that 95 is to be more flexible
Okay.
and have a lot of cardio.
What about the Olympic lifts? Have you been good at them or
yes, no? Yes. The power clean.
Yeah. Are you getting better at it?
Yes. Or? I started with I think 155 pounds the first week, and now I'm almost in 205.
Wow.
So
that's getting better. Are you feeling good technique?
Yeah, good technique, and I use my like you teach me.
So if we can get that, now elite's going to be around 300. If we can get that to 300,
oh yeah,
you're going to have a lot of power in your body, and that's a real good chance you get to 95 too.
Yes, sir.
Of course, the mobility helps, gives us more time to get through the right movements. But if we can get through it with more firepower, with more explosive power, that's 95 too.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Cool. And then what pitches do you have at or what pitches do you have now that are going to get better at 95?
Well, I think my slider is going to be nasty. And
let's show everybody how you throw your slider. How do you throw your slider?
So I throw my slider. I start to hold it like this, and then my pitching coach in Houston told me to put my finger a little bit more up.
So it's more like a curveball.
More like a curveball.
Like
yeah,
a knuckle curve.
Yeah. And yeah, you throw like this.
And you're out here.
Yeah,
so release right here.
front.
So I'm gonna call that a curveball, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something important to note. Like anything that you're coming over your finger with, even if it's on a sidearm slot out here or here, those are curveballs.
Yeah.
No, I mean I call them curveballs because if you're throwing it out here with that coming end over end, right? That's a curveball. Like when I talk slider, a slider is something that you pronate into. You pronate and spin it. And when you're hooking it and coming over it, that's a curveball. So that's more of a curveball, but what kind of movement do you get from it?
It starts from right here, and then it does like, slurve, I think it is. Slurve.
Yes, they call it a slurve, yeah. But is it obviously not 12-6?
No.
Is it kind of in between, or is it
between.
More horizontal? It's in between?
No, more horizontal. More horizontal.
It's even more horizontal? Well, then your slot must be out here.
Correct.
Because your side, okay. But and with this, as we separate more and you get more contralateral, because more velocity is up here, that same pitch is going to start doing this.
That's what I want, actually.
Yeah. So you'll get a good rising fastball, and then you'll get a dropping curveball. And then you can learn a pronated slider.
Oh yeah, I didn't
pushing that way, right? That's something that I think it's something work on 95 now, then you start building in, because think like getting to that 95, your slot's gonna come up, so your pitches are gonna move differently, then you start building other pitches that'll help.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. I'm gonna get somebody else. Well, good. We're excited. Everybody keep an eye on Santiago as he moves to 95, becomes a pro ball player. Let's go. Who else can we interview over here? Rafa, come on, come over here. You like getting on? Come on. So Rafa is, you can hook that right here. You just put it like this. Okay, put it in your pocket. So Rafa is 15 still?
16.
16. So Rafa's 16 from Mexico. Tell him where you're from in Mexico.
I'm from Veracruz, Mexico.
And he's currently playing some travel ball here. So he started playing with Impact.
Yeah.
And doing really well. Tell him about your last outing.
I went trainings, 5Ks.
Trainings?
Yeah.
5Ks?
5Ks, no hitters,
No walks?
No walks, yeah.
Awesome. Doing well. How's your velo been?
It's been like going to 84, 86.
Good.
Keeping there, yeah.
Good. So it's 16, doing pretty good. What do you want? What are you hoping to get out of for next year?
I've been sitting like on 90s, mid 90s to try to develop my mechanics.
Where do you want to go? College ball or pro ball?
Where they give me the opportunity to stay playing and getting better. Yeah.
So best opportunity you're looking for. What pitches have been working good for you?
The changeup and a little bit the slider.
How do you throw the changeup? Let's show him.
It's the circle changeup.
Circle change?
Yeah. Like this.
So show the camera. Circle change. And you just turn it over?
Yeah, it's like the pronation.
Yeah. Is it because you can be very rotational?
Yeah.
Do you have a hard time turning it over?
Yeah, it's like my release point is kind of a little bit back, so it's better for me to
Yeah,
use
if
the
you
changeup.
separate more, it's easy to turn it over.
Yeah.
Then if you're flying open, it's harder to turn it over, right?
It is.
Sometimes. Okay. Well, good. And so you've been fastball changeup?
Fastball, changeup, slider.
How do you throw your slider?
It's just like it's more like a cutter. I see.
Which is really a better slider. Let's see. How do you throw it?
like this.
Right there, and you pronate it off like that,
Yeah.
right? See, guys, that's a true slider. Something where he's on the ball to push into pronation or push into the horizontal plane, as opposed to getting it like this and spinning it over. That's more like a curveball, right?
Yeah.
So you're throwing that. Do you throw a cutter where you turn it? You
No,
go
it's-
fastball, four seam, and then turn it for
Yeah.
a cutter? You
like
ever do
for
that?
throwing it inside
Yeah.
corner. Yeah.
You do that?
Yes.
Cool. I know I like to do is I like to, because my slide I'll run in. So I'll go four seam and let it run in, and then I'll turn it to there, and I'll throw it again, and it'll slightly go the other way. You ever do that?
Yeah.
Those are fun. And two, I don't know, this is me. I'll throw fastball straight inside, so it'll run like this. And then when I want to throw outside, I'll put it here. So when I throw it outside, it actually even bends a little bit off the plate. So
Yeah.
they think it's going to come in, and it actually goes off the plate a little bit.
Yeah.
But I always like that. I think it's fun to
Like-
play.
Like Mariano Rivera.
Yeah, it's fun to play, like, just take your fastball and go boop, 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 boop,
Yeah.
and just watch the ball go boop, boop, boop.
Did we change it? But if enough today fail that ball, like a pop out.
Yeah, well, what do you mean? If you what? With your changeup?
No, I mean I said like little changes on the ball.
Yeah, little changes. Yeah, I
yeah.
thought you said changeup.
It
Yeah,
make
little
it-
changes.
yeah.
Yeah, key. Yeah, it's subtle. Because one thing you don't want a hitter to do is feel like he knows where the ball's going.
Yeah.
So if you're constantly even taking your fastball and you're moving your fastball, he gets confused. Oh, here comes the fastball. Is it going to go this way or is it going to come this way?
Yeah.
It gets him again, you know?
They
Yeah, so
won't
if
fear.
you never want a hitter confident of where your ball's going to go. So if you're constantly throwing them off, it just makes it hard, right?
It is.
So what's it like playing in America as opposed to Mexico?
Can you repeat?
What's it like playing here in America, playing for impact
It's-
as compared to
At
Mexico?
first, it was like difficult for me to like, for example, to understand the signals, all that stuff. But for example, the fields are much better than Mexico's fields, and well, I like because it's more like it's more competitive. So I like that.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's the South, the southern states, because we have the hot weather. We have a lot of good baseball. So it's
Yeah.
been good competition. That's good. Would you be excited to go back to Mexico after playing here and see?
Yeah,
if
but
you
I would
gotten
like
better?
to come back to play
Yeah,
here.
come back and play here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. What would you say to anyone in Mexico who's thinking about playing in the States? Say it in English and then say it in Spanish.
Like, don't be afraid of this like adventure, but don't look it like if it's wasting money. It's more like putting money on your future and to have better opportunities here.
Say it in Spanish.
Que no tengan miedo de tomar como el camino de venir acá. No lo vean tanto como un gasto, sino más bien como invertir en tu futuro y para que puedas obtener mejores oportunidades aquí en Estados Unidos.
No, you're saying this.
Yo no sé, dime tú. Tell them how they could reach out to you if someone wants to ask you a question.
They can text me on my Instagram, DM. I can.
What's
I can
your
answer
Instagram?
them.
Tell 'em.
It's rafa.rivera.19. Point, sorry. Yeah.
Dot, yeah.
Dot, it's okay? Okay.
All right, awesome, dude. Good, keep it up. Going in 90 plus soon.
Hopefully.
Let's talk to this guy over here. All these foreigners in here, I like it. All these Latinos. Hurry up, I want to interview you. They're watching you. Okay. Here you go.
Oh, roll it.
Hold that like a mic. And then hold that. You can put that in your pocket if you want. All right, so this is Jose. How do you say your last name? Like
Suero.
Suero?
S-U-E-R-O.
Suero?
Yeah,
Okay.
Suero.
He's been playing in the leagues in Florida. The
Baltimore.
Where is it?
Baltimore. Meriden, Baltimore.
Baltimore?
Yeah.
Oh, you were up in Baltimore? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And it's called tell them what the league is.
The MLB draft.
MLB Draft League.
Yeah, MLB draft league.
Where'd you play in college?
I play in Wayland Boston University. It's in Texas.
And
West Texas.
And you're a graduating senior?
Yeah, I graduated this year.
Okay, graduated this year. And you're doing your best to get into affiliated ball.
Yeah.
Tell them a little bit about your career. Like, how was your college career?
My college career, my first 2 years were not great. I defined myself like a reliever because, I grew up in Dominican and there you train so hard, but you train like to do a tryout, and I used to get tired really fast during the games. Like 30 pitches was my max. So when I was a starter, my 2 first season, I was like really strong for the first 3 innings. But when I passed the 60 pitches, I get really tired.
Yeah, you needed to develop that. Right?
Yeah. So last season, I told the coach that I want to go back to closer, that I feel really comfortable there.
Yeah.
And I have my best season.
Well, here's the thing. Some guys you're genetically built for more to be a relief pitcher than you are to be a starting pitcher. Someone who's genetically built better to be a relief pitcher would be someone we were talking about who has a lot of ATP, has a lot of fast twitch muscle fiber, and typically it can be muscle fiber type 1. And what that means is they typically don't have a lot of endurance in that high muscle fiber. So those guys are better relievers. Yeah. Guys that are better starters, they have a good balance. It's still fast twitch muscle fiber, but I think I might be a little bit too simplifying it, but like it's a type 2 fast twitch and it has a little bit more endurance capability. So those guys typically can keep their energy going longer. So you're probably just engineered, your body's engineered to be a relief pitcher.
My coach always told me, like, don't throw everything you have in the first 2 innings after every start.
But that's what I do.
Yeah, but it's what I do.
But that's what a good relief pitcher does.
Yeah.
I've known you just a little bit, and I know you're built to be a relief pitcher.
Yeah.
So how was your velocity in college?
Last season, it was consistent 95, 96. There were some days that when I pitch in back-to-back days,
you drop.
I dropped. So I come here because I wanna face that,
Yeah. And talk about your pitches. What pitches did you have?
I have fastball, four-seam. Yeah, four-seam. And it's cut a little bit, like to this side.
Yeah.
Probably because my angle.
Because you have that more sidearm slot.
Yeah, it's my favorite pitch, like fastball inside. I throw a lot of that pitch.
And then you had the slider, but we were talking about it's almost like a curveball because you were hooking it from the side, right?
Yeah. The grip is like a curveball.
Yeah, it's like a curveball grip.
Yeah.
So do you see as your slot starts coming up, because we start getting your hip through so you don't drop, and your slot start coming up, that might start becoming a curveball.
Yeah.
Then you might start learning a more traditional slider and even a cutter.
I wasn't able, like, my fastball is really high, so my slider were like 80, 81, 82.
Yeah.
If it was a slider, a real slider should be more.
Yeah, more like upper 80s.
Yeah.
If you're at 95.
Yeah.
So what are your goals right now? Obviously to sign, right?
Yeah.
With an affiliated team. And you think to do that, you want to show more consistency.
Yeah, more consistent. Definitely with my speed. I want to show more consistent because I'm a closer. So I had to be able to throw almost every day, and that was my problem in college. I had 1 week to rest, replace on weekends. But in pro ball, you need to be ready every day.
So what do you think in here is helping you to get more consistent?
Oh, the work, man. The hard work. You work really hard.
Oh, what's same number? Some of the specific things that we're addressing. I mean, the mechanics, right?
Yeah, the mechanics. We focus on the mechanics.
Tell them you felt there was a lot of your mechanics that were not synced up well, right?
Yeah. No, and the first 2 days when I started working on the mechanic that you tell me, I feel that my arm was like more fast. Like it's more fast and
it was cleaner.
It
didn't feel as much effort, right?
Yeah. And I wanna be consistent there because I think that is the key for consistency in my speed. If I can throw harder without a lot of effort.
Yeah, too much herky-jerkiness. You got some things going this way, some things going this way.
Yeah.
So putting it all together, syncing it up, making it smoother, cleaner, that's consistency, right?
So we're working on that.
And what about the athleticism? I know you're strong, you're powerful. Do you see any of this really helping as well?
Oh yeah, so far like in 1 week I gained 3 pounds, just muscles.
Yeah.
And I feel strong again because when I come here I feel really weak. You remember?
And it was shocking to see your leg, your jumping power wasn't that great.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of why you're a lot of upper body. So if we get your legs under you, it's going to be even better.
Yeah. I pass almost every night watching your video, watching the mechanic that we do here. And
well, that's one thing. Tell them like it's important to you that you learn this, right?
Yeah, it's important. Like, and I think the mechanic is the base for everything because if you don't have good mechanic, it's what happened to me. I throw really hard, but I'm not consistent with my velocity because I don't have good mechanic. So I had to do a lot of effort to throw the ball.
And you get sloppy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So talk to some Dominicans out there. We'll probably say it in Spanish too, but let's say it in English first. Talk to some Dominicans and say, hey, things that they need to be aware of when they're coming up, that they need to be prepared for them, that maybe all their training for that tryout is not really preparing them for to have a lot of success in the game. What would you say it is?
I think we have to focus more on the fundamental in the game, like to focus more in the game. It's good to train and it's good to be like go build, but at the same time we have to be mentally prepared for the game.
And that's in the mechanics.
Yeah, mechanics.
That's in the pitch stuff. That's in learning how to train off season and in season, right?
Let me tell you my history. Like when I come here, my first year I wasn't able to pitch too much because I throw 94, 95 really hard. And I don't have command on my pitches, and the coach never trusts me because he said you're a hard throw, you're not a pitcher. So in order to me like to be successful, I had to learn how to pitch. So like if you're 13, 14 years old in Dominican, I want you to focus a little bit more on pitching too, like and the ability to control the ball whatever you want.
Proper mechanics.
Yeah, proper mechanics.
Say it in Spanish too.
Para ti, tú sabes que tiene que haber muchos latinos por ahí mirando esto. Es bueno enfocarse también en las habilidades de pichar con buena mecánica para poder repetir cada picheo sin mucho esfuerzo. Esa es una de las claves de lo que los cabos andan buscando. Buena mecánica, consistencia y poder controlar los picheos donde tú quieras.
And say, I kind of understood that. And say in Spanish, tell them how they could use the Top Velocity free resources, like the YouTube videos, the Instagram videos. Tell them how to use that, even if they don't speak English, to learn.
Yeah, I have a little experience. Since I get here, I have a couple of guys that they reach me on Instagram and ask me, and I tell the same thing. Just in the Instagram page, there's a lot of drills. Before I come here, I always watch the drill. The stretch is very important.
Or how we break down mechanics.
Yeah. You have some good videos on Instagram that you can go and watch the reels.
But tell them in Spanish.
En la página de Instagram, en YouTube, hay muchos drills que te pueden ayudar. Si tú vas y te metes a los reels, tú vas a ver que hay muchas discusiones de cómo una mecánica buena. Y yo te recomiendo que te metas a YouTube a hacer más, a buscar más información y para que aprendas un poquito más, que te va a ayudar muchísimo.
And tell them how they can reach out to you through Instagram.
Yeah.
Tell them your Instagram.
Yeah, en Instagram, cualquier pregunta que tengan me pueden contactar a mi Instagram. Hay muchos que me han escrito últimamente, en los últimos días, y le he dicho lo mismo, que se enfoquen en buscar los drills ahí en el Instagram, que hay muchos que te pueden ayudar.
You give them your username?
My username?
Should they find you or no? How can they search on Instagram?
José Suero. Si pone J_Suero, ese es mi Instagram, ahí me puede encontrar. O aquí mismo en la página de TopVelocity en Instagram, ahí hay unos cuantos videos míos, pueden ver mi Instagram ahí y me pueden seguir cualquier pregunta.
That was great.
Thank you.
That'll help a lot. Appreciate it. Yep. All right, that was good. Let's do some questions over here. Let's go check some questions. You want to just put it up here and I'll just talk to the camera? All right, let's go over some Q&A here. We have, how can I train better trunk posture, coming out of leg lift, my trunk gets really far slumped over and my head stays over my drive leg and the ball gets like far behind my back. So I'm gonna read that again. Coming out of leg lift, my trunk gets really far slumped over, so I'm seaming this way, and my head stays over my back drive leg. Okay, so then you're leaning this way, and the ball gets like far behind my back. So maybe you're just, here's the thing, you wanna go in rotation. So you wanna close off in rotation, but you don't wanna lean forward and close off in rotation, because now you're like preparing for a sidearm slot. So what we do is we have to like really aggressively overcorrect to get back up. So it sounds like all your problems right now are just leaning forward. Get your trunk posture up to back to what we call contralateral as you move down. Because you want your arm back here, you just don't want to be leaning forward into it. Because if it's back here and you're contralateral, as you drive, then it's going to want to stay, or it's going to want to come up as you go forward, which is a healthier arm slot and a better arm slot. So it just sounds like maybe you're leaning too ipsilateral. You got to stay more contralateral. Let's say, I want to know the reason why the shoulder blade is not loaded. So the shoulder blade is loaded. I don't know what you're talking about. So when we break the arm, when we break the hands, that's the first thing we want to do is load the shoulder. That allows for trunk rotation. So you got to understand, all the arm pass stuff is predicated on the trunk power. So we're trying to create all this power with the trunk, right? We're trying to load it back in counter rotation, launch it into rotation, launch it forward, because that pushes the energy of the ball. At least 6% of the energy in the ball comes from the trunk. So what the arm has to do is it has to counter that movement. So to counter the trunk rotation, it goes into the scap load. And then once it gets through the rotation, and then it goes into layback to allow, so we can counter the forward trunk. Right? You just need to make sure your arm cocks shoulder height, so when you go into layback, your elbow comes up. It says, what should I do to first load the scapula? My shoulders are leaning forward. Once again, if you're leaning forward, it's gonna be hard to load your scap. So if you're contralateral and you're in some trunk extension, the blades actually glide back. If you're leaning forward in inflection, it's hard to pull the blade back. So contralateral, trunk extension, now your arm can easily load back. Importance of the serratus anterior for throwing. Yeah, great question. So the serratus anterior is right here under the armpit, and it pulls your scap around. So it grabs the tip of your blade, and it actually pulls it here. And when you do that, it actually goes up. So by pulling this here, the top of your shoulder blade lifts up, and that gives it room for your arm to go up. So you want to destroy your arm, don't activate your serratus anterior so your scap doesn't come up, and then try to lift up, and then you impinge your rotator cuff. And then you start throwing from there, and then you destroy the arm. So the scap function is critical. And here's the thing, you have to build scap function if you're gonna be able to build rotator cuff function, which is pretty much rotation. So you've got to work on your scap. So you got to work on your serratus anterior. You know, you can hit your serratus anterior and all the push-up plus. So you want to have a lot of movement in your scaps. When you do your push-up plus, you can do also fat man plus, and you can do it overhead, right? That's going to be key. People who will use the computer for a long time have their shoulders tilted forward. Very good. The range of motion is very limited. Yeah, so if you're always in this position, what happens is it's not a good position to be in when you lift your arm. So it's like, if you're in this position, you're ready to lift your arm, you better extend your trunk, get your scaps back. Now it's gonna be a better position to lift your arm. So the reinforced position of on a computer and on a phone can put your scaps in a really bad position for abduction, which can really tear them up. You did an analysis on me and said my poor trunk posture makes my drive leg collapse. Any drills or progression to help? Yeah, so I think what I was saying is, if you lean too far back, you put this to end of range quick, and then all your leg can do is collapse. So you have to be careful about leaning too far back, because now, as you can see, your leg eventually collapses. So you want to stay more vertical, more contralateral, which is glove side, and more counter rotated. You really don't want to get into much trunk lean, because that causes the problem. So drills on that would be just practicing falling forward and down at the same rate, and trying to keep your trunk more vertical. The med throws really help that, because if you start collapsing your leg, you'll have no power on the med throws. The overhead posture drills, like we have a lot in here we do. I'm gonna throw up Instagram real quick. Can you go grab me a stand, you mind? I'm gonna go live on Instagram, take some questions there. If you have any more questions, it says, yes, I definitely feel I lean back for sure. Good. That's your problem, you gotta work on that. So here we go, we're throwing up some Instagram live here. I usually get some good questions on Instagram. See if that's true. And I gotta clean my camera here. All right, here we go. So hopefully we get some good questions on Instagram. It's kind of a dark place over here. Sorry, we got put in the corner. Maybe if I stand back, you can get this lighting on my face. Not really. It's not the best place to be. The lighting's so bad, huh?
You can stand over there.
Yeah, I was trying to, yeah. How's this look? Better? All right, Instagram, what's up, man? We're doing some Q&A. We've been on YouTube. We've been doing some Q&A on YouTube. What's up? Medlen's in here. Medlen, join, man. Get on. Let's do a little interview, Medlen. Come on, Chris. Get on there. What up? Chris, send me a request. I want some Medlen on here. We'll have a good conversation. Let's talk about your boys over there who you've been working with. I'm gonna try to add you on, see if I can. Let's see if he accepts it. So, looking for some questions. And anybody got any questions? Let me know. See, Chris is probably there. He is. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, nice, man. So how's coaching been going?
It's been good, man. Getting a couple guys lined up for next year. I mean, summer ball's ramping up, so they're busy doing that. But yeah, man, Parker Daly, who bought your program, he's put on 15 pounds. His velos are for sure going up. I haven't been there while he's throwing yet, but he says, I mean, his med ball throws are cleaning up, and just his lower half's gotten way better. He's getting so much stronger. So.
Well, awesome, man. If y'all don't know who this is Chris Medlen. He played like eternity in the MLB. How many years in the MLB? I forgot.
Almost 8. I was almost away from 8, but
and he
always wish it was longer, but thankful for what I had.
yeah, he had a lot of success. I was lucky enough to work with him because he at the end he got a little banged up, so I got to help him out a little bit, and and it was a fun road back because, you know, Chris is really smart. He really understands the game. If anybody knows his career, he's known as like the mastermind behind spin and movement, and really has amazing understandings of pitch development, setting up hitters, and just watch him as highlight reels.
You can't see through this miraculous tan, but I'm blushing, okay?
Well, seriously, like I love watching like your highlight reels on YouTube, man. Insane. And I mean, you're
I've had some pretty good results, you know, but like, you know, going through the program with you and obsessing over it, you know, with Cody Hall and you know, guys like that, really competing through just with each other through the med ball throws and the lifting and all that. I mean, it just gave me such a wealth of knowledge. Like, I almost wish I had it before I, you know, got to play in the big leagues. But I'm able to help out so many other kids who are looking to progress, looking to go, you know, just higher up, and my ability now to just see what they're doing wrong, because we watched so much film of ourselves, so much film of other guys. You're working with all these other guys trying to figure out the same thing. So understanding how, yeah, there's different arm angles, there's different whatever, but we're all humans, and we all move the same way. We're supposed to move in a certain way, and understanding like where you're lacking strength in certain spots, how to just kind of crush those spots out, and it kind of just like neutralizes it, and you're able to like, get into these spots that you weren't able to get into before. So
yeah, I mean, Chris. I mean, of course, when I get to work with guys like Chris and in his level, and help him rebuild a career that was where he was battling injury, you know, he had some real major problems, and I mean, the one I'll never forget. It was just you had a guy who I think Chris, you were taught so much to stay back and lean with the hip. And you got to a point where you were so dramatic at it, you were just collapsing your leg, and then everything else was trying to overcompensate. And then it literally started to destroy your body because you had to pitch like that.
I got less athletic. I was a shortstop coming up who could get on the mound, and I could really move my lower half, be explosive down the mound. And then you sign as a pitcher only, and you just get put on this mound, and you're not supposed to move. You're not supposed to be too fast and slow down and all this stuff. And it's like, dude, I'm getting to my balance point or whatever you wanted to call it, and I'm getting stuck because I've lost all my explosiveness.
Yeah.
You don't let me lift overhead. You don't let me. You don't know what a power clean is. Or you're professional athletes, and you don't allow these people to be explosive. And it just, like I said, doing the program, it completely changed my body. Probably could have hung on for a little bit longer, but I had some family stuff going on. And
Well, you also had to face the Astros during their cheating scandals.
it was right after. I'm not.
I know.
It was at home in Arizona.
Yeah.
There were a lot of factors. I can complain about a lot of stuff. Being in AAA, this is before they started using big league balls in AAA. Now they have AAA. So I'm sorry, they have big league balls in AAA now. But we had minor league balls in China stamp on them.
Yeah.
Like plastic, real grippy. And then you go into Arizona with a big league ball. It's like, dude,
What?
I got no grip. I got nothing. Trying to throw a breaking ball, it's just like popping out.
Yeah.
All those types
Well,
of
but it
other
was
stuff where
But it was exciting watching you go from literally, I don't know if y'all know this, but when Chris was making his comeback, and it was really cool because when Chris came to me, you were really unsure. You were thinking retirement because you were so banged up. And to see you make a decision of, no, I'm going back. And literally Chris he missed spring training because he needed time to get where he needed to get. And you literally went right into high A ball and worked your way pretty much all the way up to the big leagues.
Yeah, they had you throw, at the minor league complex and kind of build your way back. But they let me try the program out, and I was super happy with. I was about 190 my playing weight most of my career. So being able to get to 205, 210. I had never tried to put weight on before. I never paid too much attention to what I was eating. I was just like, man, I'm hungry, like crush, whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's like I totally understand being able to progress into putting weight on while lifting, while getting mobility in, and your body able to move that weight that you're putting on. It just adds so much. I wasn't concerned about adding velo. Yeah, it's awesome. I was sitting 92, 93, whereas before, even when in my prime when I was doing well, I was as low as 87 up to 91. So I come back just throwing the ball so much more effortless.
Yeah.
All with my legs, the ball was just kind of popping out. I lost a ton of feel just from missing so much time and all that. So that's what I struggled with the most was the pitchability. But in terms of how my body felt, it's the best I had ever felt in my career, and it was at the end. So.
Yeah, and which was exciting, and I think that was real closure for you, knowing that you didn't have to end your career as a battle, as an injured and beaten down baseball player. You got to end on your really, where you felt you were still healthy. You got to end on your terms,
Yeah, no, if I stayed, it would have been, for the money, and I never ever played for that. I know it's awesome and whatever, but I was just playing my career where I hadn't probably made most of what I was gonna make.
Yeah.
And it was more like just to prove to myself that
You could do it again.
that we could do it, that the program works, and all
Yeah.
that, and just the fulfillment of buying into something and it working, and I was just like, shit, man, I did it.
So what's it like? What's it like coaching these kids now? So tell them you're coaching with a high school team, right?
Yeah, Milton High School in Milton, Georgia. It's about 2 miles from my house. It was really easy. Coach Husing, head coach, he had me on and gave me the reins. A lot of these guys, the year prior, the POs, they just kind of sit down and do nothing. They watch practice, and I was like, no more of this. What I really liked with what we had programmed was the day you throw, you lift. And before I think they wanted guys sticking around watching
Wow.
92 just
Wow.
I feel like it was something I had something to do with it.
Yeah.
I'm not taking all the credit, nothing like that, but
Right.
just a little bit of knowledge. I'm trying to get their leg, his back leg in a certain position to drive, and like getting him just keep his upper body back and delayed, and then just a lot more lifting, and kicking their butts, because I know they take summer ball and whatever a lot more serious now. I feel like compared to when we used to play, like high school was just like, oh, this is how you get drafted, but now it's just like, now you just go to these showcases and you can throw 95 all over the zone. Like, oh, we can fix that. It's fine. We'll draft you for
Right.
first round.
Right.
So they are more focused. I feel like on the summer ball stuff as things treated in high school. I felt like great kids. I mean, I had a really fun time doing it, but it was like a spring training for their summer ball type. Around more scouts and doing that stuff.
So what do you do with them? Like, around this time of year when I get bigger groups of guys, you get some of the powders in here, like, oh, I'm not making gains in 3 weeks, and what do you say to them? I'm probably actually going to get you off camera and see if you can give me a little inspirational video for these guys. But what do you say to the kids that I think they underestimate how hard this is, and they don't know how high they're supposed to be shooting on their effort. And they're obviously not feeling the momentum. What do you say to those guys to keep them focused or to kick their ass? What do you say to them?
Yeah, just nothing worth any goal that you're going towards. Like, nothing is going to be easy. Like, these are very almost unattainable type goals, and that's what you should shoot for. Is these, like, I always told myself I was going to play in the big leagues. I had people telling me, like, yeah, right. The guys that played high school, they knew I was good, but they were like, oh, well, if this guy didn't make it, there's no way you can, and there's things like that. No one can tell me otherwise. So, I mean, shoot for the stars. I mean, why not? And the process of getting there, it's never going to be easy. If you want to be legit at anything, and it doesn't even have to be athletics, any job, any business you own, like, you have to put in the work to understand, like, situations, how to work yourself out of them. You're going to hit adversity, how to push through. I feel like adversity in terms of the program is just like hitting a plateau where you're like, dude, nothing's happening. Push through. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. Yeah, you might not be lifting as much because you're so damn tired, but push through, and once you have that breakthrough, that's when it pops back up. All of a sudden your bed balls go from 37 to 42, 43, 44, and things just start clicking, and your brain is what takes over, and it's like, hey, new movement patterns, we're totally getting this, and things just start clicking. And even just different, the way certain guys move compared to others. I mean, I was very, like, long legs, short torso. I didn't have a ton of, like, ability to separate, things like that. So the more I drove and the more speed I had down the mountain, that was helping me separate as much as I could. I know you get a lot of, like, taller, leaner guys. A lot of times they're super flexible, but they have a hard time putting weight on and getting the strength in there. I mean, ask a 6'6" guy to power clean. That's pretty tough,
Yeah. And how
breaking yourself down and exposing yourself and making yourself vulnerable to what the goal is what it is. You're gonna be that much better because of that.
and tell them you're not a tall guy. Tell them your height.
I am 6'7". No, I am 5'9" and 3/4, and I rounded up on the program to 5'10".
There you go. And so that's incredibly inspirational, because tell them how hard it is to play at the big league level being the smaller guy.
I mean, I never saw it that way. I think that's what kind of, like, helped me get there. It was just like, cool, you're 6'7". You got a bigger strength.
Whatever.
Next, that was really my mentality. It was just like, I don't count it as adversity. Like, being hindered in any way. I was 5'10", but, like, pretty damn athletic. I could mimic anything. I could see something and be able to do it. So, I mean, I never saw it as a challenge. I just, I saw it as just, I have to do more. I have to be better, be that much better if I'm going to be seen. And I even call myself
Do you,
as a man, man, just learning how to be a man about things.
Yeah.
Just going and put the work in and getting results in.
it'd be interesting to see your thoughts on what would it be like if you were coming up right now as a college player. Do you think it'd be a different road for you, or would you take any different approaches?
Well, technology is just so much better, so who's to say I wouldn't? I was, like I said, a college infielder, shortstop through 3 years of junior college. Second year academically notable, you know that story. So I transferred over and all-state shortstop who would just come in and close. I was hitting 95, touching 93, 95, I was throwing really well, but who's to say I couldn't have understood the science more and what I needed to do. I didn't start lifting until college, So having a better understanding of where I could be physically now if I was, 19 years old, I think I'd be even better. I think I could compete still.
So you're saying the one thing, if you we'd all like to do it again, right? If you could do it again, you're saying you would have probably used the technology to keep yourself healthier. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, just the technology, yes. I knew I had crazy spin rates. But I can see it. I don't need a computer to tell me that I can pitch up in the zone at times. And I always knew I had a really good feel for the game. So you could find out how your pitches play. Obviously, it's like trial and error, but yeah, the technology is going to tell you hey, this is a good pitch. This is a good pitch. I ended up signing with the Diamondbacks my last year, and I was throwing 2-seamers and changeups in my prime. And they said, hey, you need to throw more 4-seamers and curveballs. Your curveball's crazy. I had 3250, up to almost 3300 RPMs on my curveball
Wow.
breaking balls. So
Wow.
I knew I had a good curveball, but a lot of diving into that, it was I moved from the far right side of the rubber to the far left side, and how that changes your plane and your sights. I battled through that type, the adjustments and that type of thing, and then getting hurt because my lower half wasn't moving like I used to, and then having to rehab, and then doing it all over again. It was pretty tough. So
There's the crew. Look how big he's gotten. Wow.
I know he's a giant, man.
Yeah.
He's a giant.
So talk about what was it like pitching with a different understanding of mechanics? Like after we worked, you obviously had a completely different understanding of mechanics. What was it like pitching with that understanding?
Yeah, I just know. It's what I tell the high school guys I'm working with too. What we work on the side is not what we work on in the game. That's when you become a robot. You become very mechanical and not explosive. So you put in the work on the side. So I would focus on head ball throws. I would get my lifts in. I'd focus on where my back knee was because my back knee liked to came in. So I really focused on my pens, sitting in my glute. Feeling my hip. There were some pens where I wouldn't feel sore at all other than in my back hip just from sitting and driving and all that. I would miss spots. Before I would always want to throw this perfect pen, just dot, being oh, that was a good pen. But I was doing it because I'm able to compensate for lack of legs by doing, like I said, I can mimic, I can make adjustments on the fly. It wasn't good, it ended up being good for me physically. So understanding what I was trying to achieve on the side, throwing my pens. That is where you need to focus on what we do now. And in the game, chuck it, throw it hard, change ups, throw them harder than your fastball, let the grip work. There's just little things I try to tell these guys because, they start telegraphing pitches from a baseball standpoint. They start telegraphing pitches, slowing down. I can see all that happen almost before they do it. I can say, no, in the middle of their windup, and it's just like a bolt, they miss spots, hit the backstop, that type of thing. So I'm having a lot of fun with it because, like I said, I understand the human body so much more now, and I'm just very thankful I'm able to kind of pass it on, and hopefully I can do it long enough and help some guys out. That's all I'm really doing.
Yeah, and so you're seeing it. You're teaching them the body awareness, the mechanics, the training to really hone that and activate that. You're seeing that it's really helping these young kids, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm creating, I guess, more of just a professionalism because I had so much fun in high school and college doing that. It was almost more fun than pitching in the big leagues, and it becomes a business, and you become sour towards the game, and it's all about love and early on. So for me, it's I just want to have a little bit more of a
Yeah.
really fun. It sucks putting in the work. Games, game time's fun. Let's grind through it. We already grinded through the week, and now we kill it. I mean, we'll show it up
Yeah,
some dudes,
I-
but like, let's go.
That's the best thing about pitching, because when you're doing well, it is one of the most exciting, exhilarating experiences. But when you're doing bad, it's the worst thing ever. So it's like, if that's not a motivator to work hard when you're not in the game, I don't know what is, because you're going to quit the game if you keep struggling in the game. It's just going to be so miserable.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of that, it's a lot of times it becomes, yes, it's physical, but it does become mental because you're just like trying to change all these things, trying to do, a bunch of different things, and usually it's just this tiny little thing, one little adjustment that is going to change everything, and then understanding like, oh, well, we don't, as a pitcher, we always go to the product of like, well, my hand here and this, that. I was like, well, why do you think it was there? Why do you think it's because you're not, and I always go straight to the foot.
Yeah, right.
Back up. It's like, hey,
Hey, work it up.
it's doing this because that is not doing what it's supposed to do, So it's always just like revert back, small adjustments, especially in a game, like you get bombarded in your own brain, but just like, oh, do this. It's like, no, pick one thing, step off the mound, pick one thing, tell yourself you're gonna not do that, and then get back on the mound and go. Just make the one tiny adjustment, and that could make it click for you that game. I mean, I had tons of 2-run first innings, 3-run first innings. 7, they give up 3 runs because I'm like, look, something clicked that I was trying to figure out just one little thing, and bam, I get one, and it's time to go. So just not getting too bombarded in your own brain about like this. It's like, no, pick one. Like in your sides, what you're doing wrong, what it happens, why it happens now. Fix it in the game. It's easy.
Yeah, and I was saying, David Arsman and I were talking today, and we were talking about how, isn't it interesting how when you go higher in the game, the fundamentals, like your foundation becomes more important. It almost seems like it would be the other way around. Like when you're young, it's all about building the foundation and the fundamentals. But isn't it wild that when you get really high in the game, you're actually more focused on your fundamentals?
Well, I mean, it's the root of what we do. Like I said, we all move differently, but we're humans. We're all going to move a certain way because we have the bones, the joints, whatever else. So understanding that, I feel like that is the root of any issue you're going to have. Just understanding your movements, why something gets away from you, and making quick adjustments in game, and really focusing, like going through your games. I could do it in my head usually. I didn't have to go look at a ton of film, but I could just like, oh, this pitch, what did I feel? Why did I do that? And then go on my side or whatever it is, just like dry drills, and really just like, I'm not doing that. Boom, boom, and just keep repping it out. Good reps, quality reps, and you can usually figure it out yourself.
Yeah, that's why you need a good understanding of the process so you can constantly evaluate how well you're doing, how well you're not doing, and then you can actually hone in and fix a problem. So if you're young and you don't know the process well, then you're not going to know where to go for the fix. So, wouldn't you say it's really important with young kids that they actually sit down and learn how this works?
Yeah, it's easier when you have somebody watching you who understands it, number one. But even when I compare it to golf now because that's what I do. I just kind of like go and I golf and I'm like, oh, I think I'm doing something, and then I'll be like, hey, can you film me on this one? And I'm not doing what I thought I was doing. So it's the same like getting someone to film you and you thinking you're staying back and your upper body's back and delayed.
It's not.
You think your knee's not collapsing, but it is. Things like that. That'll create that understanding of like, no, that's not the position I need to be in. And, that's a really easy way to clean things up too. So I can sit there and say it over and over again, but I'll film them and just be like, look, this is what I'm talking about. And he's like, oh, okay. Boom, next 10 are awesome. So
That was great, brother. All right, thank you for doing this. It was kind of out of the blue. Any last words to anyone out there? Any good advice going forward?
man, I'm not just a salesman for you, but do the program.
Okay.
It's like, dude, it's career changing. Like, especially if you do it at a younger age, when you're like while you're growing, like that, it's gonna help like maintain longer. If you do it before everything, before you really start maturing, your body's gonna be like, oh, this is how we're supposed to move, and it'll like stick with you a lot longer.
All right.
It's a grind, but do the damn program. This is so good.
All right, you can bill me later. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, bro. I'll talk to you soon. That was awesome. I'm going to save this one.
We'll see you guys.
Thanks, brother. Peace. All right, well, I don't know if we caught that on YouTube. Hopefully, maybe you heard the mic, but if you didn't hear the mic, you definitely should go to Instagram. I'm going to save this on Instagram as we speak. That was a great interview we just did with Chris Medlen. I don't know if you remember Chris Medlen. He played in the big leagues, I think he said 8 years or so. I mean, and great career. I think he had a 1.59 ERA 1 year as a starter. Can't believe he didn't win the Cy Young. It was exciting work with him. Such a super dude. He's now helping out in coaching, and he was kind of sharing the program, what he learned from it here, and what he applies even with his guys. So I'm putting it on Instagram right now, on pitching at the big league level, MLB, the MLB. So if you want to go, if you didn't hear it on YouTube, let's go there. Let's see if there's any other questions. I didn't really even take questions because of this, but I think we got a bunch over here. I hope y'all were hearing me. You're probably saying you weren't hearing me. Let's see, did you analysis? Okay. My experience normally, speed was between 120 kilos. I think they're just talking. Cool. Yeah, they're just talking to each other. There might be more here. All right, good guys. So I'm glad we could do the Q&A today. We're gonna try to do it during the week. Usually on these days, not as many people in here, but maybe I'll get it on throwing day. It's more fun to watch. But
Friday, they're throwing Friday.
yeah, we'll have guys throwing like live on Friday. And we don't have camp this weekend, but camp next weekend. If you want to learn more about the camp, topvelocity.org. Appreciate you guys following. We'll see you the next time.
Still don't know where to train this summer? ¿Estás listo para este verano?